Hi everyone, Gina Husser here. Thank you for joining me in your third and final video in the Peaceful Path to Your Life's Purpose. Hopefully you've got a great start. You've got a good handle on your list of non-negotiable feelings. You're weighing them against the gold standard. You've got your most compelling why. And now I want to talk to you about the three most common traps that people fall into that keep them on the hamster wheel and keep them feeling like they've never fully reached their destination. Now, we are all at risk for these, and when you hear them, a light bulb's going to go off because they're pretty obvious, but really zeroing in on them is what's going to help you keep them at bay and stay on course. Now, the first is what I call the cheat sheet. Keep your eyes on your own paper. What do I mean by that? I've had a few cheat sheet moments myself in the past couple of weeks, and I'll share them with you. I'm not a runner. I would go as far as to say that I despise running. In fact, if you see me running, you should run too, because there's probably something chasing me. Anyway, I had a few free minutes and I got on Facebook. You know where this is going, right? So I'm going through the news feed and I see this person is posting about running a marathon, and that person has a picture of herself at the finish line. Somebody else is training for an Ironman and a triathlon, and self-doubt starts to creep in. Why am I not training for anything? Why am I not pushing myself to be a triathlete? And then it hit me, oh, because I have no desire to whatsoever. But you see how quickly and easily we can be derailed and our focus can be taken off our main course. I have a friend who does mission work and she's great at it. She's been doing it for years. She travels all over the world helping to build orphanages and schools and hospitals. And on that very same day, I got an email from her that said, gosh, I'm feeling a bit off. I'm on Twitter and Facebook and I'm seeing my friends getting married and building these big, beautiful homes. And here I am, still traveling, still single, still living on virtually no money whatsoever. Now, she is confident and passionate about the work she does, but she was temporarily derailed by what other people were doing. So hear me when I say this. Don't get distracted by what other people are doing. If your soul's purpose fills you with peace and joy, go with it. If it looks different than what your family and friends expect, celebrate that. That's what makes it divinely unique to you. Now, I sent you an email a week or two ago with the subject line, I lied to you, or something like that. And this is what I'm talking about. I temporarily looked sideways instead of forward. I get a lot of well-intended advice from colleagues that say things like, you're doing great, so you should look like this. You should get a professional photo shoot, or you should use these words when you speak to your audience. And it's all well intended. It isn't meant to throw me off track, but I'm human, right? So it did. So I started seeing this person investing in their own TV studio and that person hiring genius copywriters, and I thought, oh my gosh, should I be doing those things? And what ended up happening was I didn't communicate with you for almost 2 weeks because my focus was on those things rather than on where it should be, which is my soul's purpose, which is connecting with you and meeting your needs and building our relationship, right? So we can all fall victim to these. You are always going to be distracted by shiny objects. And those shiny objects almost always come in the form of what other people are doing. But remember, when you're looking at what other people are doing, you're almost always only seeing their highlight reel, not their behind the scenes footage. You have no idea what their day to day looks like. So if you love what your day to day looks like, stick with it. Don't get distracted. Now, the second trap that people fall into is what I call front page anxiety. We talked before about how your soul's purpose doesn't always come as a big thunderous sign from God, right? It can come as a whisper. It can come very quietly, and it's beautiful when it's like that, right? But media is our adversary on this one, social media and regular media. We are bombarded by stories of people doing these big noteworthy things, right? They're protesting and they're starting billion-dollar companies at the age of 26, and self-doubt starts to creep in, right? So you start operating under the misconception that the value of your soul's purpose is directly related to how many people know about it. And nothing could be further from the truth. You don't need to sit next to Oprah to impact lives. There are millions of people that you'll never hear about who are changing lives every single day. Okay, so I want to read to you one of my favorite quotes, and I have to read it because it's long and I won't remember it. And it's by Israel Salanter. I hope I'm saying that right. Here it goes. When I was a young man, I wanted to change the world. I found it difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. When I found I couldn't change the nation, I began to focus on my town. I couldn't change the town, so as an older man, I tried to change my family. Now, as an old man, I realized that the only thing I can change is myself. And suddenly I realized that if, long ago, I had changed myself, I could have made an impact on my family. My family could have made an impact on our town. The town's impact could have changed the nation, and I could have indeed changed the world. I love that, don't you? It goes to show that if you feel your purpose and you do it consistently and lovingly and with a noble reason behind you, you will impact the world because it's a ripple effect. I want to tell you about my mom because she embodies that beautifully. My mother comes from humble beginnings in a town in northern Pennsylvania, and she left that town when she married my dad, and they live a very comfortable life. She's retired now, helping take care of her 6 grandkids and helping out her friends. And it's a quiet life. And if you ask my mom what she wants for any holiday, be it Christmas or her birthday or whatever, the answer is always the same: nothing. If you say, well, I'd like to take you somewhere, where would you like to go? Nowhere. She doesn't want to go anywhere. She doesn't want to travel anywhere. That used to frustrate the heck out of me. How could you not want anything? But I realized that my mom lives her soul's purpose every single day. And because of that, she's perfectly content. She wants for nothing. Now, for years, she worked as the private secretary at our school district. Everybody in this town loves my mother. Her soul's purpose is to nurture and solve. Those are her non negotiables. And she lived that every single day. She would come in contact with hundreds of people on a weekly basis, and people would come to her with their business requests. They would come to her with their personal problems, and they knew they would leave her feeling better, right? Even if it was just a smile or a pat on the shoulder that shifted the course of their day, she made an impact. And when she left, everybody was devastated. People still talk about her. They still miss her. They miss her smile and her positive words. So that's a beautiful thing, right? My mother will never have a movie made about her. She'll never sit next to Barbara Walters, but there's no doubt that she made an impact. Okay, so greatness does not have to come with a medal and a news story. You do your soul's purpose work quietly, consistently, and lovingly, and you will absolutely change the world one person at a time, right? So, the third and final trap that people fall into is the failure to make a soul evaluation. Okay, so this happens when we're on course and we intuitively feel that something is off, but we keep going. And we do this for a couple of reasons. So, often you're on a certain path and you feel with every fiber of your being that something's missing, but you keep going year after year. Because what happens is that mental chatter starts to creep in, and I named them Mr. and Mrs. Yabbit. Okay, so think about it. You know it's wrong. You know it's not whole. You know it's not really speaking to all of the parts of you that it needs to speak to. But those little voices start saying, yeah, but you've already spent 20 years on this path. Yeah, but you've already invested 10 grand in this project, right? Yeah, but if you stop now, your friends and family will think you failed. So Mr. and Mrs. Yeah, but keep you going on the wrong path. And that's dangerous. It's heavy. It's a heavy, burdensome feeling, right? So you need to take time to stop and recalibrate, just as I did when I gave up the magazine, just as my friend did that we talked about who sold the skincare line. And as soon as she realized that it wasn't whole, it wasn't speaking to her non negotiables, she left. She stopped. She reset her GPS. She got herself back on course. And it's really important that you do that because there's nothing worse than the realization that you're continuing to waste time, right? So sit with yourself every day. Take a few minutes to be still and think to yourself, am I still at peace with my soul's purpose? Am I still in passion? Am I still in joy? And if you can answer yes, then stay the course. Okay, so we have done a lot of exercises here, and hopefully you've enjoyed them, and hopefully you've got a good handle on it. But if you still have questions, or if you're doing great and you want to go even deeper into the process, I've got something for you. I'm going to hold a free call on this topic, and what's cool about this call is it's going to be live. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the same process that I normally go through with my private clients, and it's called the revamp analysis. So what we do is a six-step process, the revamp analysis. It stands for reflect, evaluate, visualize, act, measure, persist. And it works whether your goals are business related, whether it's a goal in your personal life, or whether you're still searching for your soul's work. Okay? So the other great thing about this is I'm going to open up the lines at the end of the call for a good portion of it so that you can get your questions answered directly by me. So we're going to continue this process together, and it's going to be a beautiful open thing. And I'm even going to invite people on the line to jump in. This is a community, okay? It's a journey, and it's great. So keep your eyes on your inbox. The details of the free call are going to be sent to you in just a couple days. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to continuing the journey with you. I'll see you soon.